Hey everyone, this is Lisa Moore. I'm the Regional Director of the Athena Network here in East and Mid Sussex. I have four fantastic groups and I have some amazing members. In fact, they're all amazing. And today I'm going to have a chat with Christine Tompolski from Healing Tree Hypnotherapy, who's going to tell us a little bit more about herself and what she does and how she does it. So Christine, it's really nice to have a chat with you today. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, fantastic. Now, I've experienced a little bit of what you do because we've done a couple of sessions together, and I do remember having one treatment with you or one session with you, which made a huge difference. So tell us what you actually do.
Okay, so well, really, if you look at it at a high level, I help people find more inner peace, more confidence in themselves, and really overall having better well-being. And I use this. Obviously, there will be lots of situations that people need help with, but I do this overall aim with the use of tools that are hypnosis, tapping, EMDR, all sorts of tools and techniques that help me to address whatever it is that people need help with.
Excellent, excellent. So how did you get into this, and why do you love what you do? There's always a story, isn't there, behind it?
There is, yes. I mean, I've worked in the corporate world for a long time, and I must admit that I did suffer from stress as part of my career a lot. And I was always interested to look for solutions that did not involve medication.
Yeah.
And that was really important for me. And for a very long time now, I've been interested and fascinated by the body-mind connection, meaning that, you know, physical pain can make you feel down and well affect you mentally. But the reverse is also very important, and that your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotions as well can impact your body. And to me, that has led me to learn a lot about it, to be interested in following workshops, doing courses for myself. It was really much of a self-discovery, and I decided to use those tools to help others now.
Yeah, I mean that there is such a huge connection. I mean, you know what I do, and that mind-body connection I think is hugely forgotten about, actually, especially when you get into the work, the professional, the corporate world. It's like it's all about pressure and do, and we forget that we're human beings, and actually our minds can really heal us, can't they? And
They
make a huge
can,
difference to how we feel. So
absolutely.
is there predominantly a type of person, for want of a better way of describing it, that you help? Or are there particular people with particular problems that you like to help, or you've had really good experiences with?
Yes, I can help with lots of different issues, but I specialize in anxiety, trauma, and weight loss. So some of my clients, just to give you an idea, would have been ladies who may have been impacted by the trauma of a miscarriage, people who have panic attacks for all sorts of reasons. It could be social anxiety, it could be for past trauma or bullying, things like that. People who have phobias, a lot of people don't realize that phobia is actually an anxiety-driven
Yes.
city reaction.
Yeah.
So that could be spiders or needles or public speaking. And also people who struggle with their weight, and they might be fed up with dieting. They've been struggling for a long time. They may be struggling with cravings or emotional eating, and they really want to sort of get back control, because weight can affect people emotionally a lot more than we realize sometimes.
Oh,
And I like to help people with that.
yeah, hugely. I mean, and I think you know, weight can have a really big impact on how you feel as an individual, and you can wake up in the morning and, you know, be fine, and then you look in the mirror and it can immediately drop you down. into that spiral, which then can lead to, well, you overeat because you're looking for comfort and all that sort of stuff.
Absolutely, it becomes a vicious circle, and people feel stuck in there. So it's really, I really enjoy it when people find a way out, something that gives them hope, because you know, for some people, they've been dieting for a long time. It's really actually it can be quite hard work. It's not long term.
Yeah.
And what happens is they go back in the same circle after feeling like they've achieved a lot, and then it goes the weight comes back up, and it's a very defeating sort of situation.
Yeah, it's breaking those patterns, isn't it? Those patterns of behavior. Now, I have to say, you know, you meet people, and if you mention hypnotherapy, they automatically think of those, you know, guys and people on the stage making people run around like chickens and do silly things. So I, you know, we've had this conversation before where people are a little bit nervous about hypnotherapy, but having experienced it myself through you, it's not like that at all, is it? So
no, well, the hypnotic state in itself is obviously the same, but what people don't realize is that the hypnotic trance is something very natural. In fact, we go into that hypnotic state, sorry, in and out all day long. You know, it's basically a state of focused alertness. So if you focus reading a book, if you focus watching television or a film, then you are in that focused state, and basically that means you have access to, we can use that state for giving suggestions. So of course, for entertainment, you give the kind of suggestions that you have just mentioned, but in therapy, we use that to help the person make the changes that they need, and that's the important thing. So another thing that I'm often being asked is people are worried, you know, a little bit like you were saying, to lose control, but in fact, it's a state that you can create yourself. You know, people can go and use self-hypnosis. The person who, whether it's the stage hypnosis or the hypnotherapist, is there to be a facilitator to help you go into that state. But at the end of the day, there is no one can make you do things that you would not naturally do. So in therapy, we work with the suggestions that are right for the person.
Yeah, and I guess it's almost a bit like daydreaming, isn't it? You know, daydreaming, you go into that sort of different, you're in a different brainwave, aren't you, I suppose?
Yes, that's right. It is sort of different brainwave, and you know, we use visualization. It's basically getting people to use their imagination in that state of trance to make things happen, because the brain doesn't really always know the difference between what is real and what is imagined. And using these techniques, we can get to help the brain to get new messages, basically.
And I remember you came and did the business strategy training at Athena, and you were talking about self-hypnosis and how to do it and how that can really help. And you were talking about that visualization, and you know, there's been lots of research done, hasn't there? And it's used very much in sports coaching specifically, with athletes to, you know, visualize their race or visualize their game or visualize winning their medals and things like that. And it's very, very positive, isn't it?
It is very positive. In fact, you know, if you know, we're talking about sport, and sometimes it can be as precise as visualizing a particular movement or a twist of the, you know, the arm or the leg or something like that, and all of this actually helps the brain to remember what it is that needs to be done in that particular time. Oh, it's just an example, but yes, it has been used in sport for a long time. It's used for many other things, anxiety, and all sorts of things. There's medical research sort of showing that it's very effective treatment without the use of medication. So that's very helpful.
Yeah, which is important to you, isn't it?
It is.
So you've been an Athena member at our Haywards Heath Group for just over a year. You've just renewed your membership, which is fantastic. When you joined Athena and you started networking, what was it that you wanted to get out of it, and how and has it helped you?
Well, when I decided to do networking, it was very much about visibility and connecting with other people, connecting with people, like myself, who are business owners, and learning to be visible. Also, I wanted to educate, because I do realize, for the reason we've just spoken about, that hypnosis is something that people sometimes have misconceptions about. So for that reason, and connecting with people, so for that reason, it was good to sort of get to meet people regularly, get to understand as well how people, what people perceive of the things that you say, because that's what's important in your message, isn't it? So
it is, yeah.
To know what people get from that. And what do I get from it? Well, I've obviously made those connections. It helps you think as well. As far as I'm concerned, it makes you think about your business and what you're trying to achieve. And we get, in Athena, there's always some training. And I must say credit to you. I must say that, I mean, it's always enjoyable to get the training within the meeting, because I love learning anyway, and you always get to hear about something new.
Yeah.
But there's also the networking strategy meeting that you do outside of the meetings, and I must say that this is a good one to help you really question what you're trying to achieve. So, it's not just about turning up at the meeting, but really thinking about how you want to use the networking, and what to think about in your introduction 60-second speech and all of that. The last one was particularly interactive and very supportive and very enjoyable. So I would very much encourage people to go to that more often.
Excellent. Oh, it's great that you've had a good experience at Athena, and actually, from my point of view, having known you now for just over a year, I can see your growth as a business owner, and how you're developing and growing, and I guess from my point of view as a regional director, that's what my job is. I feel I want to bring my ladies in and to watch them grow and to help them grow. So I hope that you feel that you've done that as well. I can definitely see it from the outside. Sometimes you can't see it yourself, can you? You need somebody else to see it.
You always learn every day, Lisa. That's my motto.
Yeah, but I think it's a very good motto, and I think it's a very good place to end. Learn every day. Absolutely. It's been so lovely to chat to you, Christine, and I look forward to seeing you at an Athena meeting very soon.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Lovely.